background of participants. So, welcome to all of you to this session of Contemporary Indian Literature in English Translation. And in this, we will do the novel Thomas, written by Bisam Sahani. This novel is written on the canvas of partition of India and Pakistan. And those who have experienced the horrors of partition of India, that will be easy for them to realize what actually happened in the partition movement. Partition is the separation of India and Pakistan by three communities, especially two communities, and to a certain extent, some other religious sects, which are not so prominent, but basically Indian Congress and Muslim League, led by Mahatma Gandhi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, or Jawaharlal Nehru and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So the background is of this novel is basically the horrors of Indian partition. This block has 5 units, and in the first unit, we will introduce you to the author, Bisam Sahani, and in the second unit, we will provide you the summary in detail of the novel, and in the third, we will discuss certain aspect of the narrative and the theme, the language of Thomas, and in the fourth, there will be character analysis, art of characterization, and in the fifth unit, there will be critical review of the novel, taking into the present context and what the critics have opined about the novel called Thomas. This is not only a novel, this has been a TV drama also. And Thomas, the word Thomas means darkness. And here darkness, this word darkness indicates a lot of things. It first of all, it means darkness, the geographical event, light and dark. Then here, darkness also means ignorance. And in this novel, darkness here means subjugation of the British rule, where the subjugation of the British rule, where the Indians tried to free themselves. That is why.
Namaste.
Namaskar.
Madam Paningre sir ko ignore.
Sir.
Sir, ma'am, just you at the end of your class, you announced that the yesterday class you rescheduled at 3:30 Sunday. So
This
dear
Sunday, sir.
learners,
This Sunday. Sir,
yeah,
namaskar.
this Sunday, 3:30.
Sir,
Okay,
class
sir.
is of MEG-14 only. MEG-14
30.
class is rescheduled.
MEG-14 class has cancelled yesterday because ma'am has some other work. So I had rescheduled yesterday class on Sunday 3:30 p.m.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank
So
you.
ma'am will take that class on Sunday 3:30. Continue, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So this novel, I have told you, this is a genus-based novel, which means it has double face. There is politics and also there is nationalism. Yes, I was explaining the word darkness. By darkness, here it means it is not freedom, subjugation of British rule, and the effort, the struggle, and the war for becoming free from the British clutch. The form of this novel is basically a partisan novel. In any novel that deals with the theme of partition, there is a description, there is a vivid description of freedom struggle, bloodshed, communalism, communal riot, and murders, massacres, bloodshed, rape, anything, anything vicious can take place in any partisan novel where there is a freedom struggle. And Thomas is that sort of a novel which is originally written in Hindi in 1974 after a long gap of Indian freedom struggle which was attained in 1947. This book, Thomas, was also translated into English by Jay Ratan in 1981, and the title was Kites Will Fly. Please take down. The English version of the novel is The Kites Will Fly, a revised English translation. It was published as Thomas by Penguin in 1988. A revised English version was also published as Thomas by Penguin 1988 with an introduction by Gobind Nihalini, who made it a TV serial later on. It was a very popular show and very controversial also. And this was a controversial serial. The author's own translation of the novel appeared in 2001. The novel has been translated into several Indian languages and studied in many Indian universities as part of the syllabus and has become a classic. So in my previous classes, I had explained you what is a classic novel or classic drama. By classic, we basically mean that it has some permanent value. It is a timeless creation. So Thomas is one such novel which has become a classic novel. And this novel has received, please note down, the Sahitya Academy Award in 1975.
Ma'am, Bhisham Sahani received Sahitya Academy Award in 1975 for his creation of Tamas.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Shreyasi, I would like to
Yes, ma'am.
request you, we will discuss whatever you want or whatever queries are there just before the class ends.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry,
You
ma'am.
know,
Okay, ma'am.
I have been instructed not to entertain any sort of question during the lecture or during the deliberation of the teacher. As soon as the class ends or this book text is ended, we will devote some time before the session ends for question answer, interaction, discussion, whatever. Okay. Okay, Shreyasi? The
Yes, ma'am.
novel
I'll
is
keep that in mind.
okay, thank you. So, Sahitya Academy Award in 1975, and Thomas is considered to be a landmark in the history of partisan literature. And it is an outstanding novel in Hindi also. The original Hindi is outstanding. The translated Thomas in English also is outstanding. So, more or less, this has achieved excess popularity and is treated as a classic novel. In this novel, we find that, excuse me, in this novel, we find that the writer, who is the writer? Writer is Bhisham Sahni. So he has achieved artistic control, firm grip or grasp of reality, excellence of characterization, and its humanity, authenticity of experience, and in this is written in the academic citation of the novel. And Bhisham Sahani is a popular name as the novel Thomas is in India. So when he died, the TV announcer said, Thomas Bhisham is no more. Thomas Bhisham is no more. So Visam Sahni is the brother of Balraj Sahni. You might be knowing, a film star. He is the brother of Balraj Sahni, born in Rawalpindi in 1915. In 1915, and Rawalpindi Rawalpindi, and later in Lahore before partition. The novel Tamas, he says, is partly based on his experience. So he basically belongs to Pakistan, Rawalpindi, on August 8th, 1915, and he died on 11th July 2003. His educational qualification was MA in English in a government college at Lahore, and of course he has completed his PhD. And basically he was not a writer. He was not even in the profession of teaching or giving lecture. He was not a professional in academics. He was a businessman. But later he, by being influenced with the stories of partition, with the movies of partition, he was highly influenced and tried to write books, stories, and novels. And he has many novels to his credit. Those are uh, his first collection of short stories are Bhagya Rekha, 1953, Anthology of Stories, 1953, Bhagya Rekha. And he also worked as a translator in Moscow for about 7 years from 1957, and translated. And as this is translation literature, so credit for translation should be given. And translated some 20 books, including Tolstoy, into Hindi. Russian writer uh, Tolstoy. This is block 3. This is block 3 of MEG-14. And anybody questioning which block? This is block 3. So yeah, they're all classics. War and Peace of Tolstoy is a famous book. And he had translated Tolstoy into Hindi. And also, he edited Nai Kahaniya in 1965, the third anthology of short stories. Then, and for this, he is awarded Sahitya Academy Award, Shiromani Lekhak Award, and also from the Punjab government in the same year, in 1975. He won the Lotus Award from Afro-Asian Writers Association in 1980, and won several other awards also. Apart from this novel, there are 9 short story collections, 7 novels, 6 full-length plays, a book of essays, a collection of short stories for children, My Brother Balraj, a biography of his brother Balraj Sahni, and an autobiography, Aaj Ke Atit. Aaj Ke Atit is his own biography. And uh, My Brother Balraj is the biography of his brother. And apart from these 2 biographical books, he had written many story collections, 9 story collections, and 6 full-length plays, a book of essays, a collection of short stories for children, and also many novels to his credit. These are the literary achievements of Visam Sahni, who is a novelist of Indian English literature. Now, about the theme of this novel. Visam Sahni was highly associated with social events. And Thomas, he writes in 1974, but the experience he narrates that he had experienced during the partition in 1947. So after years, he could recollect those incidents, those horrors of partition, and try to delineate them in this novel, Thomas. Visam Sahni himself says that it was not the partition alone, it was the continuance of that atmosphere of separatism charged with communal tensions, which became a disturbing factor. And that is why he thought that to write in this on this basis of partition, there are many partition novels. Chaman Nahal's Azadi, Kushwant Singh's Train to Pakistan. Please note down. Please note down. Apart from this novel, Thomas, apart from this famous novel, Thomas, there are many partition novels. They are Chaman Nahal's Azadi or Azadi by Chaman Nahal. Kushwant Singh's Train to Pakistan. Where the novelists have tried, where the novelists have tried to make the readers aware of, the hazards and horrors of partition. The real event of Rawalpindi riots, in 1926 was experienced by the writer Visam Sahani. And he writes, inverted comma begins, I myself figure in my novel hyphen in scenes where I describe the activities of the Congress. Stop. I participated in Prabhat Feri's commands. And he also says, comma begins, part of the novel is autobiographical. Part of the novel is autobiographical, but the center of it is not about my own experiences. But the center of it is not about my own experiences. It is concerned with more general experiences, commands.
Uh, about my own experience. Then what, ma'am?
It is not about my own experiences. It is concerned with more general experiences, comma ends. With more general experiences, comma ends. So, in the beginning of the novel, you will find that a person called Nathu has killed a pig and he has thrown that dead pig in the corridor of a mosque. And that is the catalytic event which leads to the at Vivendi. Just as consequences for a multi-religious pluralistic country like India. And in the constitution, if you have read, those who have any political knowledge, you might be knowing that Indian constitution says that India is a secular republic. There is no compulsion on accepting any religion. So everybody is free to practice his own religion. That is the whole problem for which there is willful conversion of Hindus and also forcible conversion of Hindus to Muslims. Anyway, in the partisan context, the novel is thus Janus Fest. The novel is Janus Fest, JANUSFSED, Janus hyphen Janus Fest. That means it is of two facets. It is also communalism and also nationalism. So the partition originated in 1857. That triggered the fire of War of Independence. And the killing of the pig by Nathu triggered communal riots in Bhiwandi. So in short, the history of partition, you know, right from 1857, that was the first War of Independence. And all of you are, I'm happy to inform you that all of you are very thorough about the incident of Barakpur unit, where Mangal Pandey opened fire. And the first was the Great Indian Uprising of 1857, which followed a number of incidents up to 1947. So this novel basically covers some important incidents that Visam Sahani himself experienced in 1926, original fighting of Indian partition, and that he has tried to portray in this novel. And the cost of partition was colossal, very high, very high. What was the extent of damage? Nearly 12 million people gave up their home and crossed the newly formed frontiers. And more than 10 million people crossed the Punjab border. And a million people were slaughtered or died of malnutrition and diseases. And inevitably, sexual savagery was widespread. According to Urvasi Utalia, estimate about 75,000 women were probably abducted and raped by men professing religions other than their own. So this was not only of caste. This was purely on the basis of religion. So those who were professing religions, they only raped and abducted 75,000 women. A large number of abducted women were recovered and sent back to their families, but there are also cases where families refused to own the tainted women. There are many families who did not accept those women who were abused and raped, abducted of this attack or this partition. So, see, these are the horrors of partition. Today we are enjoying independence, but how it is earned, the reality is this. It is nebulous, a blonde ventured word. For it, we kill, rape, destroy, sacrifice our souls, sell our souls, make martyrs, lead crusades, and consume ourselves in its red hot glow. That is freedom. So it is not earned so easily. These are the horrible events that took place during partition. And finally, India and Pakistan, with the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, became free. The so-called freedom is attained in 1947. It is very difficult. It is also not, rather, I can say that this is not possible to go to the nook and corner of India where such things were happening every now and then. So selected things that Bisham Sahani has taken in order to put forth his point of view of a partisan feeling, harassment, disaster, hazards, and abduction, and communal riot, and instilled every part of his novel with the feeling of nationality. Partition was a multidimensional tragedy, It is not confined to one particular area. It communal feeling or partition of India on the basis of religion like Muslim and Hindu, it was a multidimensional tragedy. It is a total failure of government, and this disastrous consequence, the decision that had been unleashed on unsuspecting people. So the total suffering was meant for the common people. The heroes did not suffer. The so-called heroes who are in the AC rooms, in the protected buildings, they did not suffer. It is the commoners, the masses, who fought front to front, who fought for the cause of partition or the cause of freedom, they only suffered. And partition came into existence with the able leadership of, so the partition came into existence with the able leadership of Nehru, Jinnah, and Mountbatten. So somebody is asking me by a message, she is not able to understand what we are learning now. So she is a bit late. I think block 3 of MEG-14. Okay. So this partition is a cataclysmic event. Cataclysmic event. Cataclysmic means an event which warrants all negative result, all disturbance. That is called cataclysmic. CATACLYSMIC. Cataclysmic events. And it may be part of your history. It is also somebody's microphone is on. Please switch off your microphone. Unable to speak. Mansi, please switch off your microphone. Mansi. So there are many other partisan novels in Hindi apart from Tamil, and there
Ma'am, you're not
Bisham,
audible. Ma'am, you're not audible.
somebody had switched on her mic. I think Mansi. I'm calling her again and again to switch off her mic, but she is not listening to me. I think she is not here. So her voice is interrupted. See, yes, now it's okay. The other novel which were written on partition, they are uh, the migrants who came back. The Migrants Who Came Back by Kamaleshwar, 1971. Next novel is Between You, Him and Me. Between You, Him and Me. Original is Meri Teri Uski Baat. Original is Meri Teri Uski Baat, written by Yaspal. Sati Maya Ka Chaura, Sati Maya Ka Chaura, The Platform of Sati Mother by Bhairav Prasad Gupt. By Bhairav Prasad Gupt. So there are, and of course Tamas. Of course Tamas by Bisham Sahni. In the second phase of these novels, these partisan novels, we find Ramanand Sagar's Or Insan Mar Gaya, and Man Died, translated into English, and Man Died. Or Insan Mar Gaya, translated, and Man Died. that appeared in 1948. It was first written in Urdu and then translated into Hindi, then of course translated into English. Then came Dharamputra in 1954. And in 1958, Jhuta Sach, The False Truth. And in 1960, the famous novel was written, Desh Ka Bhavishya, The Future of the Country, in 1960. So some important points to be discussed about partition literature are, first thing, all the Hindi writers referred to generally write from a settled belief in secular and human values that go beyond religion, region and community. Underline religion, region and community. So literature should be free from these clutches. There should not be any religious bias. There should not be any communal feeling, and there should not be any regional belongingness to create high class literature. And partisan literature basically depended on these three things to be written. Then second thing, are you taking down some important points or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So the basic themes are religion beyond, it should be written beyond religion, region and community. Okay. Then Lajbanti, Rajinder Singh Bedi's story Lajbanti, it is dealing with the rehabilitation of people after, the main theme of this novel is the rehabilitation of people after freedom war. Then comes Amrita Pritam's Pinjar. Pinjar, the famous novel, short Punjabi novel by Amrita Pritam. This is also made a film, and the name is Pinjar, which means skeleton. And this also deals with the partisan feelings and the hazards of partisan, taking into a personal view. So these are the concepts of partisan literature which started after 1947 on the basis of two national theories of bloodbath accompanied by most traumatic event of partisan bloodbath. This is the unprecedented event in human history. Indian freedom struggle is the unprecedented event in human history where a lot of bloodshed took place. And people, till today, if you see the movie like Gandhi and if you read the novel of Khushwant Singh's Train to Pakistan, you will get goosebumps and you cannot resist your Indianness within you. And that is the traumatic experience of partition. And Tamas by Nisam Sahani, based partly on own experience and Rawalpindi, in Rawalpindi as a fine attempt in this direction. It is on this text that students are advised to focus. The most important partition novel is Tamas by Nisam Sahani. So then we come to what is the beginning of the novel. Some people discuss, some critics say that this is in three parts. The novel is set in motion by Nathu's act of killing of a pig at night. So what happens? A person called Nathu kills a pig, and the purpose is this is necessary to give to Murad Ali in order to help the uh, study of the body. Understood? Like we get in postmortem department or anatomy department in medical science. So, Tamas is a novel in three parts. The novel is set in motion by Nathu's act of killing of a pig at night at the behest of Murad Ali, and it's being thrown at the entrance of a mosque in a large town of West Punjab. This leads to eruption of violence and arson and looting in the town and in the neighboring villages. The administration finally decides to take action, and law and order are restored and there is an uneasy peace in the area. A small event of killing a pig. People are eating pork. But at that time, Nathu is commissioned by Murad Ali to get the hide of the pig. Now he opens, he's a skinner. And the carcass of the pig, said Murad Ali, was needed by the veterinary surgeon, and Nathu must finish the work by 4 o'clock in the morning. He had been told to wait for a pushcart to come and pick the carcass. He had never killed a pig before, and he had told that this Murad Ali, but he wouldn't listen. So Murad Ali compelled Nathu to kill the pig for medical purpose because it is needed by one veterinary surgeon. He had never killed a pig before and he had told this to Murad Ali, but he compelled him to do so. And there were many pigs wandering around, and he also asked to entice one into his hut and kill it. Murad Ali had given him 5 rupees for it. Murad Ali was a useful man. He was a man of contacts, particularly in the municipality, and often helped Nathu to get dead animals to skin. So he couldn't refuse it. So the relationship between Nathu and Murad Ali was almost a give and take. And for 5 rupees, he killed a pig to supply it to a veterinary surgeon for study with the behest of Murad Ali, who forced him to do this by giving an amount of commission of 5 rupees. The work was very simple because he's a skinner. He used to collect skins or hides of different animals. The work of killing the pig proved very tough. He tried to make it possible, but failed. And he picked up a slab of stone and threw it on the pig. Thereafter, he went outside for a breath of fresh air. And this work of killing a pig was also not so easy. And for that, he attempted once, twice, and thrice, and then became successful. Then we see that the pig is later in the morning when the pig is found at the entrance of a mosque. There was a reaction of the Muslim people. And the reaction was not confined to West Punjab or to the relation between Nathu and Murad Ali. It started spreading like wildfire. And communalism is one such concept that it usually starts in one place and spreads like wildfire. Whole country becomes involved. And so the work of Nathu was the starting point, was the whole reason, whole cause of communal riot that spread in the locality. And when the Congress people went for the Prabhat Feri for their usual round, they came to know about this. One thing you note down, in partition is a great event involving many people, many numberless people. You cannot count them. And then in this book, there are many characters, some small, some important, but I will give the name a few characters. Of course, if I get time, I will teach you character links, how they are connected. And you take down some important name of some important characters. Mehtaji, President of the District Congress Committee. Mehtaji, President of the District Congress Committee. Bakshiji, Secretary of the District Congress Committee. Bakshiji, Secretary of the District Congress Committee. Aziz, Kashmiri Lal, Sankar, Master Ramdas, who led the singing and journal, a middle-aged Sikh. who was fanatically devoted to the cause of freedom, who was fanatically devoted to the cause of freedom and was ever ready to make speeches. You know, nationalism is such a concept, it makes you excited to speak for your nation. And the context was, as the context was a partisan, there are many characters who are treated as groups, and they are these characters. Who was fanatically, then comes much of the conversation was marked by Bakshiji had spent, don't write, Bakshiji had spent 16 years in jail in the hands of Ajij, who recited couplet on his late coming. And Bakshiji is also a devoted Indian who fought for freedom. Mehtaji and Pandit Nehru, they used to give speeches. Mehtaji and Pandit Nehru, please switch off your mic. Please switch off your microphone, Tanuja. So, Journal was a devoted Sikh. These few characters you come to know about who are there in the commitment of Indianness or nationalism, which led to partisan. Mehta. Mehta was the president of Congress. Bakshiji is the secretary. They guided other people. They guided other people who were the forerunners of Indian Congress. Then Comrade Devdutt. Comrade Devdutt is also another important character who has become important towards the end of the novel. Just before morning, around 4 o'clock, Nathu became successful in killing the pig. He was very keen to reach home, and the atmosphere then was very calm and peaceful. People were getting ready for a new day. The sights and sounds were very familiar. Women were waiting for water at the municipal tap, and also the temple and Gurudwara. They were going to temple and Gurudwara. He saw a fakir with an ektara singing a song to rouse the people from their sleep. He gave him a paisa and earned his blessings to return. He then heard the chiming of the 6 tower clock and the temple bells and the adhan from the mosque behind Imam Din district. So when the event of killing of the pig is over, Nathu became very guilty. He felt very bad because he threw it on the corridor of the mosque. That led to many such events which became the central cause of communal riot in the local area. In chapter 4, we get another pair of characters. They are Richard and his wife Lija. About the British policy, they spoke. Richard and Lija, Lija came later. She wanted to help her husband in his office work, and Richard was the young deputy commissioner of the district. And Lija were out riding their horses. Lija had rejoined her husband after 6 months stay in England. Richard was interested in art object and history and had a huge collection of Buddha heads and other specimens of Indian folk art and tried to make her interested in these things. He also suggested that his wife, deputy commissioner, she should take the lead in social work. There is a compare and contrast of attitude between Lisa and Richard. Richard is a dignified official and he holds power, but Lisa, his wife, she doesn't show any interest in feminine activities like householding and all that. She also wants to uh, take lead in social work, but not she was not enough interested in this, though there was pressure from Richard. So she spent her time sleeping and drinking beer. Richard told her about communal tension in the town. He said that white Hindus and Muslims fought against them for freedom. They fought each other in the name of religion. So being a foreign lady, being a lady from England, she could realize that these people, Indians, they don't have any sense of belongingness. They are fighting with each other in the name of religion. So when question of religion comes, we forget our nationality. That is the crucial point. That so it is the Englishmen who made them fight each other. Richard said that they left it to the two communities to resolve their indifference and added that if the subject fought each other, the ruler was safe. So Lisa gives her opinion in front of Richard to say that it is the Englishmen who provoked these Indians to fight for religious cause. But Richard says it is not that. This riot is between themselves, and if they want, the government, the office will interfere and will settle it. That is the reason of this communal riot. But the reason of communal riot started with the killing of the pig by Nathu.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
Now,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
In a Muslim mahalla, Bakshiji and Journal removed the carcass of the pig from the entrance of a mosque. So, the carcass of the pig, foul smelling carcass, it was still lying on the entrance of the mosque. And Congress activists engaged some people to start some work in the Muslim mahalla. And Bakshiji and Journal, I told you, a Sikh hero. He's a man of valiance. He always wanted to jump to nationalism. And Bakshiji and Journal, they tried to remove the pig from the uh, Muslim, from the mosque. And the name of the mahalla is Imam Din Mahalla. My earnest request to all of you, uh, before I begin any session, please come prepared. I was extremely sorry because yesterday's class was dropped due to certain death of my relative. So I couldn't come to the class. But before I start any block or any block of this book or say book two, you please come prepared so that it will be very interactive. You can understand whatever I'm saying and you will also cooperate me in this regard. Okay. Have you read this book, Thomas? Has anyone read this book, Thomas? Has anyone?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Very bad. Very bad. I will speak, I will listen. Why? So please come prepared because you know that is there in your syllabus and you have to go to the exam by being prepared. No, so please prepare from now. Okay. In
Okay,
chapter
ma'am.
in chapter 6, we find Hindus are stepping for their self-defense. And a coaching is given by Banaprastaji, who tells impeccable Sanskrit. And there is a plan of satsang and santipat. And many people are being trained with their lathis and say swords and other arms and ammunitions to get ready for self-defense. Hindus. And a suggestion to train young men in lathi welding was made, for which the well-known merchant Lala Lakshmi Narayan offered to pay for purchasing 200 lathis. An instant demand to send a delegation to the deputy commissioner to explain the Hindu viewpoint to him was also made. Now look, the riot has extended to such an extent that the Hindus and also the Muslims, they are preparing for war among themselves. And the Hindu defense, Hindu states for self-defense, with the initiation by Ranbir, they are getting ready with the lathis. And 200 lathis are manufactured. You might have seen street fights between two groups. What they use: cycle chain, iron bar, lathi, swords, spears, all this, isn't it? So they are normally getting ready for the fight. Lala Lakshmi Narayan was the manufacturer, and his son Ranbir, who is 15-year-old, they are getting ready to supply lathi for Hindu defense. And in chapter 7, the meeting for citizens delegation to the deputy commissioner for peace. Now the full area is replete with fightings, and there is a delegation which goes to the deputy commissioner for peace, for appealing for peace, for resolvement of peace, or for restoration of peace. And the delegation consisted of representatives of different organizations, was organized by Bakshiji, who was agitated because of the increasing tension in the town. Besides Bakshiji, it included Hayat Baks of the Muslim League. This you note down. The delegation for the deputy commissioner included, this you note down. The delegations for meeting the deputy commissioner, citizens delegation, delegation to meet the deputy commissioner for peace. For peace included representatives of different organizations. Representatives of different organizations. Which was organized by Bakshiji, who was very much in tension, in the town. Who was very much in tension for the communal riot in the town. Apart from Bakshiji, it included Hayat Baksh. Apart from Bakshiji, it included Hayat Baksh of Muslim League. Hayat, Hayat, Hayat Baksh of Muslim League. Mr. Herbert, the American principal of local college. Professor Raghunath and others. Bakshiji appealed, don't write. So these are the members, don't write. Now listen to me. Bakshiji appealed to the deputy commissioner to restore peace and to exercise his power in order to ensure law and order to the public. But Richard said that power rested in the hands of Nehru. Now come to the crucial point of politics. But Richard said that power rested in the hands of Nehru. Hayat said that if the police was alerted, the situation could be brought under control in no time. When Bakshi suggested patrolling by the police and the setting up of army pickets at different places, Richard replied that the army was not under his control. He also was not in favor of clamping a curfew, for he feared that it would make the people more nervous. Instead of proposed that leaders of the town take ground and make a joint appeal for peace. There was a contravention of opinion, contradictory opinion of different people. Whatever the committee, the citizens' delegation pleaded, Richard said no. The deputy commissioner said no. He neither wanted to restore peace, he neither wanted to give police help, nor wanted to lodge a curfew, nothing. So the ultimate result was massacre. Ultimate result was large number of killing or large number of communal riot, incidents of communal riot. So this was the non-cooperation of Richard. So look how cunningly the English people motivated the Indians to fight among themselves. The point is that the silence of Richard made the riot more horrible. And the reason behind this is that let the Indians fight among themselves so that they will be in a better position. This is the political trick of Richard, for which the resolution of peace could not be possible. There is a great change in the character of Lija when he comes back in this during this time, and she sincerely wants to participate in the work of Richard. She tried to divert herself, playfully interrogating a Babu, Roshan Lal, who worked in the office, but she finally gave up and went in. Many important things happened in chapter 8. So when you read your book, please read the text of chapter 8, summary of chapter 8, and also the critical analysis of chapter 8. What important things happened there? The general atmosphere in Sivala Bazaar calm and stable. Communal relations harmonious. Tailor Khuda Baks dealing with Sikh women customers. Old Karim Khan's story about Musa and Khizr passed by. Nathu's restless wanderings, his drinking, meeting with the unresponsive Murad Ali. Nathu finds relief in the arms of his wife. Riot begins, the grain market in flames, Nathu distressed. So the practical events of communal riots started coming in chapter 8, and shops were on fire, and the grain market was in flames, and irresponsible Murad Ali did not come to the help of Nathu, but Nathu became a wandering man and very much in turmoil, in mental stress, because for him such a communal riot has been triggered. It has been triggered by the event of killing the pig. That was the reaction of Nathu. Then Lala Lakshmi Narayan's growing anxiety about family safety in a Muslim mohalla, grain market fire, Ranbir's absence, the decision to see Muslim help to shift to a safe place. So Lala Lakshmi Narayan, who was manufacturing the lathis, the communal riot, he is unhappy. He is also in tension. Now he is worried where to shift for safety. And grain market was on fire. And he was staying in a Muslim mohalla, and he wants to change because he knew that at any time his life is at risk and anybody can take revenge on him. Then we come to chapter 10. This novel contains 21 chapters. I'm just giving two lines from every chapter, all important events. Lala Lakshmi Narayan was escorted by Sahnaz for a safe house, and Raghunath's wife also goes there with a jewelry box from his old house, but kicks their servant Milky. They don't take their servant. They go all alone for safe life, but they kick their servants. And in chapter 11, Comrade Devdutt, he also tries to give his best for peace in riot-torn cities. And he defies parents. Congress Muslim League meeting imperative. Journal kills while speaking for peace. Journal is killed. Journal is the Sikh boy. I told you from the beginning he was leading for the nationality, and he was killed. And the servant of Lakshmi Narayan, he was kicked out of the house, though the house was very onset. So Lakshmi Narayan
Ma'am, your
and
voice is
his wife,
breaking.
they went to a safe house and they kicked out the servant in chapter 10. I don't know why it is breaking. Is it all right? Voice is breaking. Of course, I will take a little
Yes,
break of.
ma'am.
I'll take a little break of 5 minutes to take a glass of water in the meantime. So I think I'll be excused for that. But before that, I will tell about chapter 12. Ranbir and his hand of warriors watch for militia quarries, industrials, an elderly Muslim selling oil and scents and kills him. So already the riot has started. Hindus are killing Muslims. One Muslim man who was selling scents and oil, he was killed by Ranbir and his band of warriors. Ranbir is the son of Lakshmi Narayan, and he had prepared those lathis, and in the meantime, one Muslim is killed. So this heinous event of merely killing a pig for uh, the medical reasons led to the communal riot of such magnitude. Could you get my point? How sorry it is. Natha's guilt and deep distress at the killings and burning caused by his act, his final confession to his wife, Nathu's wife's attempt to cast out the spectre from their house. So Nathu is now under pressure. He is very sorry because for his small act, this communal riot started and people are killing people. There is extreme hostility between Hindu and Muslims. And Nathu is very much in Morris and is repenting for his misdoing for which this riot had started. So let me take a glass of water.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Part 2. The thematic distribution of part 2 starts with chapter 14. The thematic distribution of part 2 starts with chapter 14 when Harnam Singh and his wife Bantu leave their home and hearth. So, among the villages, the countryside, the fire of communal riot had started to go from towns to countryside. And this Sikh couple, they also leave their house. The Sikhs of Saidpur assembled at the Gurdwara to prepare to fight with Muslim murderers or Muslim marauders. And the cohabitation of Muslim and Hindu is no more possible. And the Muslims too had been preparing for the fight and had cast themselves in the role of mujahids, ready to launch a jihad against the kafirs. So the typical spirit of fighting, bloodshed, murder now is completely uh, there in everybody's mind, be it Muslim, be it Hindu, especially Sikhs. Sikhs are highly valiant in fighting. So, and as the incident took place mainly in West Punjab, so this the Sikhs took lead role in fighting. Then Harnan Singh and Bantu received their shelter in a Muslim home in Muridpur. Unfortunately, this Harnam Singh and his wife Bantu, they left their house for safety, but unfortunately they stayed in a Muslim home in Dhok Muridpur. And then in chapter 17, Iqbal Singh is hunted, humiliated, and is forced to get converted to Islam. Chapter 17. Now, another plot or another point that Bisham Sahni discusses, write down, is conversion. Conversion. It is not only religion communalism, it is also conversion. Hindus were forced to become Muslims, and even English people forced them to become uh, Christians. The story of the pursuit and capture of conversion of Iqbal Singh almost runs parallel to the incidents of fighting and communal riot. So conversion was another important issue that also led to the communal riot. Orthodox Hindus, they did not accept this concept of conversion. They did not want that any Hindu should be converted to Islam. Understood? And then Sikh women's heroism amid fierce fighting at Saidpur, government finally intervenes and the rioting stops. So after a large number of killings and fightings, government finally interfered, and in chapter 18 we see that the fighting is stopped because the government interferes. And women from Sikh community, they also wanted to participate in this communal riot with all vigor. They also wanted to fight with Muslims. Then the chapter 19 deals with the district administration re-establishes law and order and provides relief to riot victims. Relief to riot victims. Those who were affected by the riot, they were given some uh, relief because of their losses they suffered. Understood?
Yes,
Then,
ma'am.
yes or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, good. The scene at the Relief Commission Committee office. What happens? When they were ensured relief of the riot, glimpse of the narrative here gives a glimpse of the different hues that constitute the variegated scene witnessed at the relief committee office. One of the functionaries of the office was a statistics babu who used to handle the task of um, what is the extent of loss, what should be the extent of relief, and how they should be given. And that was the problem of this distribution of uh, compensation. So relief was here means compensation that they because they have suffered. Each had a different story to tell. Harnam Singh, the tea shop owner of Udhokilai Bucks, wanted his gun to be recovered from the person who had given shelter to him at Adhiro. Another Sikh hoped that his wife Sukhwant and their son Gurmit might not have jumped into the well and could be traced somewhere. A third, in his desperation, even tried to offer bribe to the statistics Babu to help him recover the gold chain and bracelet that he was wearing when he jumped. See, people have tried to lose their lives. Even people have preferred to jump to the well. So the statistics officer who is ensuring relief to others now they are giving the opportunity for the right sufferers to come and claim their compensation and relief, and that is done in large numbers. And the peace committee finally sits. The novel ends with the peace committee's meeting. Eminent citizens belonging to different political parties to elect the peace committee was held in neutral venue, the Christian College. So the venue was the Christian College. The meeting was the result of the efforts of Comrade Devdutt, who felt that it was imperative to bring all political parties under the roof and bring peace to the city. So all the political leaders, including Muslim League, Congress, and English force, they were called to sit in the meeting. And finally, there was a commitment not to fight further for not to fight further for this cause of religion, communalism, and conversion of religion. This is very important. And random conversion was taking place, forcible conversion was taking place. Women were abducted, raped. They were voiceless. They could not raise their opposition to anybody, and families also did not accept those ladies again. So, the Christian College was the venue for the last event of the novel, that is the Peace Committee, and the result came out that there was a brief discussion about who should sit where, who should speak first, which slogan should be raised. Finally, both the Congress and the Muslim League presidents sat side by side, and the result is India and Pakistan. Understood? The great subcontinent of India is divided by these two religious or political sectors, and that is Indian National Congress and Muslim League. So today we are having this born enemy, Pakistan. In chapter 21, the novel ended. Am I audible? Are you listening to me or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's good. Okay. So the end of the novel became the end of the communal riot, and all were given priority. All were given opportunity equally. In that meeting, when the novel ended in chapter 21, the
Can't hear.
result was there was an understanding between Muslim League and Indian National Congress. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So the result was that there was an understanding between Muslim League and Indian National Congress, and the recurrent thoughts were kites shall hover, kites and vultures shall continue to hover for long. In the novel, Bisam Sahani, when it was translated into English, it was the title was Kites Will Fly. Kites will fly. And in this, at the end, he write down, kites shall hover, kites and vultures shall continue to hover for long. At the end, please write down, at the end of the novel, Bishamsani himself. Bishamsani himself tells that kites shall hover. Inverted comma begins. Kites shall hover. Kites and vultures shall continue to hover. Kites and vultures shall continue to hover. Hover for long. For long. Inverted comma ends. He says, kites shall, don't write. Now listen to me. Kites shall hover. Kites and vultures shall hover for long. For long means other than kites, there will be vultures, which are not good. Understood? So, he means to say there will be positive force and negative force, but the country will exist. That is the message. Now, with the end of this novel, we will come to the critical appreciation part of the narrative. Achha, write down questions. Write down questions. 1. These are all textual questions, all about the novel. Question number 1. Justify Thomas as a partisan novel. Justify Thomas as a partisan novel. Justify Thomas as a partisan novel. Question number 2. Question number 2. What is the main motive of Did you write the question?
Yes, what is the main motive
Of Bisam Sahani in conceptualizing the partition of India as the theme of Tamas. As the theme of Tamas. Write in your own words how the novel Tamas is partly autobiographical. How the novel Tamas is partly autobiographical.
Ma'am, could you please repeat? Could not hear you.
Yeah, okay. How the novel Tamas is partly autobiographical.
Ma'am, is it another question?
No, same. I'm repeating for her. Same question. I'm repeating for her.
No, ma'am. From write in your own word. From that part only, is that the another question or the same thing?
Write in your own words how Tamas is partly an
Ma'am,
autobiographical.
is this the part of
This is
question
the
number
third
second
question.
or
It is the same question. Please read out.
This-
Anyone,
Yes.
please read out.
this is the third question?
Third.
Please read out questions.
Yes.
Ma'am, write in your own word how the novel Thomas is partly autobiographical.
Bus.
This is the
This
third
is the
question, ma'am.
okay. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Now here we will come to the style, narrative style of the novel. In this, uh, this is a first person narrative where the writer is a narrator. He describes his experiences. Then it is also a second person narrative where he is describing the experiences through somebody, through some character. And also, it can be a third person narrative where others are participating the same experience. And he is including them and describing the events of the partition which he had experienced in 1926. This is a first person narrative because, write down. This is a first person narrative because mic off please Rupa. Switch off your mic. This is the first person narrative because the author Visam Sahani has portrayed the real experience of communal riot, the real experience of communal riot of 1926, before the independence of India. Before the independence of India. And he has become a part of those communal riot. Communal riot and earned some practical experience. And earned some practical experience. Then we come to the structure. The function of a narrative. What is the narrative? Narrative is a descriptive novel where we have three things to attend. What are the three things? In a narrative, we find pleasure. In a narrative, we find pleasure, and the pleasure is linked to the desire for knowledge. The desire for knowledge, inverted comma begins. We want to discover secrets. We want to discover secrets to know the end. And ultimately to find the truth. Narratives enable us or make the matter easy
To know the end after that?
to know the end, to find the truth. To find the truth. And narrative helps us to see things from other vantage, see things from other vantage points, and to understand others, motives that are opaque to us. Opaque, O-P-A-Q-U-E. Opaque means which is not transparent. So tamas has become a successful narrative which not only engages the readers but keeps them involved
Keeps them
involved to know the complex behavior, to know the complex motivation and behavior which is far from stereotyped thinking. As a narrative, Tamas also provides social criticism. As a narrative, Tamas also provides social criticism in which people like Nathu and Milky, and some other characters who are at the lowest level of the society, they receive the end of any public tragedy. They receive the end of any public tragedy. The next paragraph, the structure of the novel is well organized. Part 1 comprises first 13 chapters. If you get question like discuss the structure of the novel, straight write all these. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Part 1 comprises first 13 chapters. And surprisingly, it begins and ends with Nathu. Surprisingly, it begins and ends with Nathu. It also deals with the disastrous result of his innocent act of killing a pig. Because he is a professional of such work. Because he is a professional of such work. The part 1 of the progress of the plot ends with the confession of Nathu.
In the part 1?
Not in the part 1. The part 1. Not in. The part 1 of the progress of the plot or the novel ends with Nathu confessing his sin. Ends with Nathu confessing his sin to his wife. To his wife. Next paragraph, the second part. The second part consists of 8 chapters. And it takes us to the surroundings of the villages. It takes us to the surroundings of the villages where the riot and violence has spread and focuses mainly on the sick living there. Mainly on the sick living there. Particularly on one family.
And focuses
on the 6. Mainly on the 6 living there. Mainly on the 6 living there. Particularly on the one family. Particularly on one family. Of Harman Singh and his wife Bantu. Harman Singh and his wife Bantu, his son Iqbal and his daughter Jasbir. And his daughter Jasbir. And last part or part 3 can be considered as the aftermath of the riot, and it consists of 3 chapters from 19 to 21. Three chapters from 19 to 21. Where we are taken back to the town and the interest and effort of the government or administration is shown to restore peace and law and order. to restore peace and law and order. We see people crazy for the relief. We see people crazy for the relief by the statistics officer, which is ordered by Richard. Which is ordered by Richard. The victims of violence. The victims of violence, they enlist their claims and their claims for compensation and relief. Though it is very late, but government has interfered. Though it is very late, but government has interfered and tried to console the people, console and convince the people regarding the result of communal riot and tries to restore peace. One important thing that Visam Sahni is trying to pinpoint is that communal riot is like wildfire. It is not confined to a particular locality. Once it is started, it spreads like wildfire, causing destruction. So this is all about the structure of the novel, well organized. In the part 1, you find out the plot, the region of communal riot, Nathu's killing a pig, then different incidents taking one by one. And in second part, there is a runaway from the riot place. Everybody is seeking safety of life and property. And in the third phase, there is a restoration, peace with the interference of the government employee or the government. So this is a well-organized novel so far as the structure is concerned. You can get such questions, okay? Then we come to the approach of this novel. How the themes will be approached. I told you in my note that religion, communalism and region, and of course conversion. These are the 4 important plots or themes that run around the novel affecting almost all the characters there, and they are led by certain people to represent their views and ideology. And the fightings took place. There is also clash of weapons, and women are also abused, and also they are abducted. So these things, they these things took place, not only once, not only in one place. So the how the theme of communalism is dealt by Bisam Sahani. Is it purely communal, or religious, or say regional, or regarding forcing people to change religion? What is the most prominent theme in this? Most important, which touches almost all characters present. Who can tell me?
Partition.
Partition is a theme.
Communal.
Communalism. Partition is a broader concept. During the partition, such things happened, and the reason was communalism, religious misconception of feeling, which is now no Quran, no Gita, no Bible tells us about many gods or many men or many power or many thoughts. They always speak that there is only one God. But we, the humans, we, the citizens, we, the educated religion dealers, we spread the wrong message among the community and the society that we are Hindu, he is Islam, or he is Christian. All these things that happens only by ourselves. It is not ethically correct. And communalism inside India during partition period is a very common event. There was any time there was massacre, there was any time bombing, there was any time fighting between communities, be it Hindu or Muslim. And British power, the Lord Mountbatten, he was holding the clutch and exercising his will over the fighting. Let them fight. That is why Richard is delaying his interference. You will see, I'm very sorry to tell you that this I don't like at all. If students will not come prepared, then this lecture is absolutely useless. You have to come prepared with the topic so that it will be easy for you to understand. We can discuss. Okay. Repeated requests also, you being so interested, educated, you are doing PG, so you should have this common sense of learning the text at least earlier. Understood? Don't read the text. I'm not compelling you to read the text. Please read the summary. Have an idea in your mind as to what is Thomas about. Understood? So it is becoming very difficult for me to explain. So communalism, region, religion, and conversion themes. These four are the main events which made the theme of Thomas, and how Bhisham Sahani treats them. He treats them equally well. He goes down to the society, right from the bottom level to the top. He controls all characters, and all characters play their significant role within this canvas. Understood? Write down. Right from beginning till end. Right from beginning till end, we find there is equal treatment to the theme of so write down communalism, comma, religion, comma, region, and conversion. And conversion. There is little irony about the situation that there is no direct criticism of the novel. The writer describes the scene objectively, withholding direct comment. And he leaves us
Objectively,
Objectively,
objectively withholding direct comment, and leaves us free to draw references and inferences after a careful reading of the novel. Bisam Sani has tried to use some metaphor in this novel. Good words. He has compared many events with such wonderful fit vocabulary that you will appreciate his power of using metaphor. First thing is symphony. By symphony, here he means he identifies the parallel communal living of the people. Symphony, an equal footing by which people are measured in a society. Communal living of one quality. Then comes tide. Tide means a high flow of something. And here he says the riots are compared to a tide. That means peak of riot, peak time of the riot. Tide and wave, and after going to the high, gradually it comes to the low. So this is like a growth curve. I told you this is a movement curve. It rises to the peak, the communal riot rises to the peak, and after that it comes down. So he compares this to tide. Next is whirlpool of puppets. Whirlpool and puppets. By puppet, you know that it is a soulless identity. Puppet is not a living fellow, but he is identified as a person. So one who is not working according to his conscience, his thought, his rationality, and is biased and misguided by others, he is considered to be a puppet. And here he describes the head of political parties as puppets. They don't have rational feeling. They don't work according to rationality. So they are considered puppets. And whirlpool means the whirlpool of riot, where anybody can lose his existence, where anybody can lose his identity. That is whirlpool. When there is a communal riot, nobody knows who is Hindu, who is Muslim, who is being killed, and who is killing whom. So that is a complete whirlpool, where all the things that floats on the water goes down. There he compares the riot, the extent and the depth of the riot into whirlpool. Write down. He compares whirlpool to to the peak of riot, which is very deep. Where no personal identity exists. Where no personal identity exists and all lose their entity. That means the whirlpool of riot kills and finishes many. The whirlpool of riots kills and finishes many. Then comes finally the metaphor tamas. Big paragraph you have to write. If there will be time, write down tamas. The title of the novel, tamas, lexically means darkness. The title of the novel tamas lexically means darkness. Here, the master writer, Visam Sahani, here the master writer Visam Sahani uses this metaphor tamas, which indicates various meanings. First, by tamas he means darkness. By tamas he means darkness. This darkness is showing a multiple understanding. First, this darkness stands for subjugation of the British Raj. Secondly, this darkness means it is not yet light. It is not yet light. There he pinpoints the incident of killing the pig by Nathu. The incident of killing a pig by Nathu just before morning. Just before morning. Thirdly, he focuses on the ignorance of the common people. Ignorance of the common people who are biased and misguided.
Ma'am, where?
Who are biased and misguided. Biased and misguided. Biased, B-I-A-S-E-D. Biased and misguided. And lastly, he means to say that this tamas or darkness will end one day, and India will get freedom. He directly refers to the 1926 riot. He directly refers to the 1926 riot and tries to convince the readers or the then Indians that the dawn of freedom is not far off. That the dawn of freedom.
Once again, ma'am. Once again, ma'am.
Convince, ma'am, convince.
The readers and the then Indians
Convince readers
and the then Indians that the dawn of freedom, dawn, D-A-W-N, that means morning, the dawn of freedom is not far off. The dawn of freedom is not far off. Done? Then we will come to characters. There is little time to give notes on characters, but you just listen to me that there are two sets of characters depending on their mentality, trained, and performance. Some of them are pro-Indian and some of them are pro-British Raj. And Richard and Lija, the couple, they represent the British authority. And Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League and Congress Committee and Lord Mountbatten, they represent the local administrative power who work very willfully, not considering the public demand instantly. Okay. Then come the poor and proletariat, the downtrodden, the common mass, who don't have any voice, represented by characters like Nathu and Milky. So, characters are categorized as per their social standards. All are not set on equal footing. So, various characters are there who come to the forefront with the class of ideology, with the class of motto, and they represent different ideas differently. Okay. If you find time, my dear students, please go through the text and try to analyze all the characters from different standpoint so that you will realize what is the difference between the character like Nathu and Richard. Very contrasting. High, very high and very low. So this is a pure amalgamation of rank, which is wonderfully done by Bisam Sani. And he is a master creator who has organized this, for which he has got so many awards for this book. And this has been made a TV serial by probably Govind Nihalni. And when it was shown in TV, it became more controversial. It was not a leisurely novel that will entertain you. It is a novel based on facts of 1926 riot. And today, we free Indians should go back to that time to know how bloodshed had taken place to get this freedom. Now, please, questions. One thing you remember, if you get questions like Nathu, Journal, and Richard, they are all covering questions. So, questions I will give only two characters. Sketch the character of Richards. Sketch the character of Richards. Number two, justify that the character of Nathu is pivotal.
Nathu is
Pivotal to the theme of the novel. to the theme of the novel. Discuss various themes of the novel. Discuss various themes of the novel and justify or establish their existence. If you refer to communalism, you have to establish it. If you refer to partition, you have to establish it. If you refer to religion, you have to establish it. If you refer to
Justify.
their existence. So, major function of the writer, don't write. Major function of the writer is about the poor and unprivileged people. Major description is on them. There are high class people, there are elite mass, there are also administrators. But major problem in a book like this, where riot is explained, have you seen when you might have experienced the feelings of the war of Ukraine and war is between whom? Ukraine and
Rus.
yeah. Who died? How many died and why died and who died? The common soldiers.
Yes, ma'am.
So
The
here,
soldiers are the sufferers.
yes, and others, and these two remain the same. The bloodshed took place. There was fire. There was bombing. Losses occurred. Nobody is going to compensate the lives of the poor and unprivileged. So, in this book, Thomas also, a large part of the book is devoted to the feelings, to the standard of living, to the style of life, to the thought, to the performance, to the action. Look at the character of Nathu. He is skinning the dead animals. This is his profession. He didn't do any mistake by killing the pig because this is the part of his life. But the throwing of the carcass of the pig on the corridor of the mosque or the entrance of the mosque led to such a communal riot that many things happened, many people died, many women abducted, that brought a dangerous result, a disastrous result, the killing of the pig. Could you understand? Now this is all about your Thomas. So goodbye for today. We meet tomorrow, same
Thank
time.
you, ma'am. Thank you,
And
ma'am.
okay, and you might have got the notice from by your mail that the rescheduling of yesterday's class is on Sunday 3:30. Please join. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank
welcome,
you, ma'am.
welcome.
Ma'am, which topic you will teach on the next class?
Fourth block. You have another block, no?
Short story.
Short story, short story. Yes.
Ma'am, I just have one question, if you
Yes,
will
yes,
allow.
yes. Come on, any general question you have, I'm not able to hear.
I just have a question that we have in a previous uh, papers like comment on the narrative structure of Tamas. So here we will write about the like we have in Tamas first person narrative structure, second
No,
person,
no,
and
no.
third person.
Structure about the theme. About the theme structure. Part one, part two, part three, I said, no. You write that. If
So
the question comes in narrative, then you go to narrative.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
But ma'am, we have three of them, na? Like we have first person narrative and second, third. We have omnipresent type of
Question
narration.
is about not narrative. It
No,
is
ma'am.
about theme.
I can understand. I understood about you that the question was different about narrative structure. Here we have to write about the themes.
Yes.
I got it. But if the question will come,
Yes, then you write how there are different types of narrators. Okay.
yes.
And what is the function of the narrative I told you.
So with the
Okay.
examples and like the omnipresent narration, we
Yes,
got
yes.
from this.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.